All right. So I always start with all right. Today we drew science, energy, and intention. So those are the three that I drew. And I think we should talk about intention because intention is, in my opinion, and I think scientifically, when we get into science, is pretty factually, your energy will always go in the direction of your intention.
Of course.
The issue is most people are not conscious of their intentions. And so they often complain of things that are happening in their life without the awareness that they are truly, and we'll get back to the law of attraction, attracting whatever they're putting out, right? So, I mean, intention is, there's a great book, The Intention Experiment by Lynn McIntyre, I think her name is, or McIntyre, and it really goes through the science of it. And they do several experiments that are intention-based. So you set your intention, which is, she defines it as a projection of awareness with purpose, efficacy towards some object or outcome. And it's a conscious statement you make. Mm-hmm. And I like to define it as like your why, your passion, your purpose. How do you identify with intention? Like, how do you work with it?
Well, I look at it as like, okay, what is the ultimate goal? Like, what's your main operandi or focus point, right? So I get that a lot with my social media because I post a lot. Like, oh, is your intention to like get people to follow you? Like, what's the intention? I go, well, no, my reason for doing it is obviously hopefully to inspire somebody like what we're doing with these podcasts. Mm-hmm. My training videos and fitness stuff is the intention to kind of hopefully motivate someone to go work out. And I get lots of people that tell me that. And so people are like, oh, are you doing it for like fame and fortune? No, I don't want the stress of that. My intention is a little bit different. So every person, usually when they're making a decision to do something, there is some underlying
There's always
reason. Mm-hmm. There's never like a decision that you would make that's just, I don't know why I did that. Mm-hmm. There is some. If you peel the layers back, you figure that out. And so each person that I come across, depending on what they want to do in their life, because I coach a lot of people, I usually ask that, like, what's the purpose or intention of doing this? So we just had this conversation off camera about 5 seconds ago, right? Where I've met lots of very successful entrepreneurs, you as well, and they seem like they've achieved everything. Like they have all the money, they have everything they want, yet they still grind like they're poor. And they're like, for what purpose, right? And for us, it's like, I put the brakes on, like, I'm good. And for them, their intention is like, they love it, right? Even when I work with Bob Proctor, like, dude, you're 80, like, do you really need to do another book? Do you really need to do another seminar? Like, you've done it, right? And he's like, no, but I love it. And my intention is different than somebody else's who wants to stop at a certain point.
Which is true. And I mean, that's the thing, like you have intention with everything you do. So if I'm going out to a meeting or I'm going out to do a presentation, I take the time to set my intention. You know, what do I want to get out of this? How do I want to feel? And I always focus on my experience because I can't control other people. So, you know, you can't set the intention, I'm going to have the intention of making these people be my best friends. You can't do that because ultimately you have no control. But if the intention is, I want to create healthy relationships with people and I want to feel fulfilled in that, that is an intention that then at the end of the day, you can sit there and evaluate within yourself. And I mean, yeah, like people have different intentions. The key is sitting down and really identifying, why are you doing this? What is the purpose? And kind of setting that goal. It's almost like a goal with emotion in it, right? It's a little bit more in depth than a goal because you add your why and you add your passion. And it's really important because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, whether, you know, people say, I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm just doing it. There's no truth to that because we all have intentions. It's whether or not we become aware of them. And the more you become aware of them, the more you start to direct your energy and really consciously create your life. Because the energy will always be in alignment with that which your heart and soul is in alignment.
And I'm a big like karma guy too, right? So like what you put out is what you get. So when I worked with Bobby, so I was talking about leave the impression of increase with every person you meet. Your intention should be to better that person in some way. Not saying there's anything wrong with them, right? But usually there's people that are stuck on something or some problem and it's racking their brain. We all go through that. So because if you could maybe just give a suggestion or recommend a book or do something when you leave that person that they feel like they've got something from that, that should be like your main focus for me specifically. And that's kind of what we've done a lot of over the years is everywhere I go, even with fitness, like I have a lot of clients and most people that train with me in a gym setting is not like anything they've ever done before with some other trainer or some other experience. And a lot of sharing, that's like, why? Like, what do you do differently? And my intention is always to make sure the exercise is an enjoyable experience, right? And most people, when they think of exercise, they don't think that. They think it's awful, right? So they think it's a bad time. Where I try to bring humor into the session. I try to bring the life problems and things that are going on outside of it, and then also bring the fitness. So the whole time they're there, they're getting not just the exercise component, they're getting a lot of other things, right? Even one of my moms today, I always talk about my mom, she sent me, I got to pull it up. I send memes to her, like funny things that her kids would do. And she wrote to me, literally this, getting in shape is great and all, but I think the memes are the best part of meeting you, right? So there's a prime example of me doing that to try and better someone's day or make them feel a bit better about themselves and about their health too, right?
And then you feel better about yourself. So, you're setting this intention to create this healthy space for people, and that is what you're getting. And so like the intention is, it's so important. I think we often just kind of go about life and things happen. And then it's like, why did that happen? But again, if you're not taking the time to set your intention, my intent, like one general intention is always to, like you were saying, like I treat people the way I want to be treated. Even just that intention and going into an environment, then I can come out of that environment and say, hey, did I treat people the way I wanted to be treated? And it helps create an alignment with your values and who you are and who you want to be. And I know we often lie to ourselves too. Like, say you get a nasty email from someone and your first reaction is like, okay, we're going to respond.
Yeah.
I've often had to stop myself. Okay, what's my intention here? I'll lie to myself and be like, well, I just want to respond, right? It's just, the truth is I want to do harm because you did harm to me. And then so I stop myself and say, okay, you've identified your true intention. Is this in alignment with who you want to be? And then, whether I take a break or step away from it for a bit, and then I come back and set a new intention that's more aligned with my values and who I want to be. And say, now my intention is to create awareness and to treat people the way I want to be treated. And then my email is going to be very different in my response, right? So your energy is always going to be aligned with that. And kind of going back to the science, the intention experiment, the book is phenomenal because it really breaks down the science of intention, even having the potential and the possibility. Well, in the book, they show it through the experiments to actually make physical changes through your intention, which is cool. Like if you ever get a chance, there's so many different experiments where, they put people in different rooms, they set different intentions, and there's like something locked away in a safe somewhere, and they actually can change the outcome of what's in the safe by their intention.
Yeah, and some people see, you hear that from me, like, yeah, okay, sure, like maybe it's from Netflix, but in university, I learned about this before I even learned about that aspect of science. So I was in kinesiology and exercise science. We talked a lot about like human performance from the mental aspect of training. And so what they did was they had runners run like a 100-meter sprint, and they had all these like electrodes, sweat detection, heart rate, all the different metrics they wanted to calibrate on that individual. And then they took that same athlete that just ran that race, put him in a room in a chair, and had him visualize that same experience. And his body markers were identical to as if he actually had done it. And in the study, they found, I think 1 or 2 people actually pulled a hamstring while sitting down. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that's just how powerful our minds can be when it comes to visualization, focus, intention. Mm-hmm. And there is so much science backing up a lot of those things that now we're coming to learn about.
Well, yeah, because your body keeps score. And that's the thing is like when it comes to science now, we've tested so many different things. We talk about the map of consciousness, which to me is kind of like my holy grail of learning about who I am and who I want to be. And it really goes through the different frequencies, right? So there's a science to how you feel, and that frequency will affect your body. And there were some experiments I was reading about and how your body keeps score, and it was based on kinesiology, and where they hooked people up, and when they would ask them a true statement, their muscles would twitch in a way that would give them more strength.
Yeah, so muscle testing. I do with my clients where you stand there with your arm out and you think of a positive thing and I give them resistance.
Right.
And then they think of a negative thing and their arm will drop the same pressure. And like, what?
Yeah, I know. And it's so innate because your body keeps score. Whether or not you're consciously aware of your intention or the energy that you're holding, your body is always in a truth state. So you can use your body as a lie detector, and just that, when they asked them a false statement, their muscles twitched in a way that created weakness. So this is science, and science is all about hypotheses. And that's the thing, we went through a few years of people constantly using the language of trust the science. I'm by trade a scientist. Yeah. And science is all about questions and hypotheses. You have to be curious and then and create a place to explore. The science is never absolute because it constantly changes and evolves. And, if we look at the laws of physics, one really important law is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's transferred from one form to another. So, you take things like emotions, intention, it's all energy. And how you choose, and that's the alchemy of when you start to put that energy and use it in different ways that are going to benefit you and obviously benefit others. And there's, again, a science to this. This is not just theory anymore. This has all been proven. And like science is great, but again, you have to be curious and start to ask questions so that you can get those answers and you can start to evolve and discover new things. Science is not something that's like ironclad and it's never going to change.
It's always evolving.
It's always evolving. And now in the world of spirituality, and I don't even like to call it that, but when we talk about energy, quantum physics is, I think, more the explanation of that type of energy. But we're seeing, like, for example, quantum physics, that's a, they used to call it like a pseudoscience, right?
And now it's normal.
Now it's normal. And it's testing the possibility of, just about everything that has to do with energy and atoms and how we manipulate that and shape that. And I think it's fascinating because now for people, trusting the science means a very different thing than what it used to. And for me as a scientist, I need to know the molecular level understanding so that, and it all makes sense to me when it comes to energy, intention, and where you put your energy. And a lot of people are just kind of throw their energy out.
They throw it out or they suppress it, one of the two.
Yeah.
Like I used to always keep it inside and be like, I can handle this and just push it down. And I worked with Bob Proctor. He was, you gotta stop putting that in your stomach and your stomach from.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
Just look at me like, I know what you're doing. And the other people hold in different areas. Like I got a mother this week. She had a really bad migraine, was killed, like just to get out of bed. Didn't want to come into the gym to work out. And I said, just come in. Right? And we made the joke like motion's lotion type of thing. Right? Once you get in, you start moving around, you feel better. And at the end of the session, she goes, oh my God, my headache's gone, like alleviated. I go, well, yeah, we took you, in that fixed, tense state you're in at home with the newborn stress of your career. You come here, you found a way to redirect that energy, release some energy a different way. And now look, the symptoms you had a minute ago are not there. Now, I didn't kill her in the gym, right? Smaller things, but anything, even this year, we went for a walk, like certain things like that can really change your
Well, and it did, right? Because you start to, that's the alchemy, right? You start to transmute and change the energy and put it where you want it. And then it starts to work in ways that you want it to work. But you're right, when you suppress it, that is the foundation of disease and illness. When people get sick, and if you look into quantum health, there are certain disease and illnesses associated with certain emotional states.
Yeah.
And so if, guilt is a huge one. Guilt is one of the biggest causes of cancer. And again, this is all science. You can find the research there. It's out there. There's tons of it. And what happens is, because of that guilt and where guilt resonates in terms of frequencies, you're basically feeding your cells in your body with all that energy.
When you're stressed out and chaotic, right? It's not a very good state to be in for your health, right? You can look at the word disease, right? You start with flood. Disease, your body's not at ease, right? You're a catalyst to bring on more stuff. So you need to find a way to create that balance or equilibrium. Like for me, I used to get really exhausted coming off stage, traveling a lot, dealing with thousands of people all the time around me at these seminars. And I was just like, man, I'm gassed. And it was just because people were sucking life at it, right? So then I sought after some people that helped me with all that stuff. And now I can kind of get in a certain state when I go out in a large group, coaching, speaking. I don't have that effect anymore because I can protect myself a bit about it. So again, it takes a little bit of practice, but over time you can learn how to use your energy in a different way. When I worked with Bob Proctor, we talked about it earlier. He was in his 80s. He had more energy than people like in their 20s. I'm like, how is this guy working this crazy and this hard? And he just really understood energy and all the stuff we talked about today and how to utilize it to his benefit and help people around the world understand themselves a bit better so they can do the same.
Well, and I think that the first step is in the intention. If you want to start to be the master of your own world and your own energy, be so clear about your intention in almost everything you do. And I remember I went through this activity where I was setting my intention for consciously setting it for almost everything I was doing in a day. And it was insane because, like you said, every action you take, even every thought you have, there's an intention behind that. And so if you can get clear on what that intention is, you become the master of your energetic world. And so, and if you're honest with yourself and you're true to the intention you have, you will get that outcome. It's absolute. And that is the science. It's a formula, right? So you will get that outcome, but you have to be vigilant and you have to set your intention. There's times where I didn't set my intention. And now, I've done it so often that it is almost second nature. But when you're not aware and then things happen, you're like, whoa, why did this happen? And then take a few steps back and say, okay, what was my intention? I may have not said it, but what do I believe my intention was based on this outcome? And you can usually get to a place where you can better understand yourself and the things you want to achieve in life. But again, the key is don't lie to yourself, set your intention, be true to it. And that's when you start to see how you are in control of the energy in your life and within you. And you can start to impact people in a positive way, right? Because if your intention is negative, you're going to get that back.
People are going to feel that.
Yeah. And we do. And when you see that, you walk in a room, you immediately sometimes can tell someone's in a bad mood or a good mood. You're like, don't talk to that person. Or like, hey, what's going on?
To pick it up before you even speak.
You do. So this energy, we talk about auras, and that's the extension of that energy you have within that kind of comes outside. It's kind of like a scent, right? It kind of circles you. And anyone who comes within your area, in your vicinity, they're impacted by that energy. And so even auras, there's a science behind it. It can be measured these days. You can even take a picture, and I've done it, with a device where it actually shows your aura. Some people can see it on their own. I'm not there yet, but there is a science behind it. And based on that energy that's surrounds you, there's these books called Celestine Prophecies back in the day.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, and those are like probably the first books I ever read that introduced me to the idea of an aura and your energy field. But again, this has been around forever, and it's something that everyone can do. And don't worry about the science, don't worry about understanding that if you don't want to, but know that intention is very powerful. And if you want to start being in control of your life and the things that happen in your life, set your intention, or at least identify your intention wherever you can. And again, even if it's cooking a meal, my intention is to cook a healthy, beautiful meal. Yeah. And just like my beautiful sourdough banana bread I made the other day. And I'm like, my intention is to try this out and create something that's healthy and beautiful. And that's what happened, right? So set your intention, practice it, do it for little things, whether it's going for coffee or whatever it is, and start to discover, how you can be in control of your energy field by setting your intention. I think that's the best practice anyone can do to be more in control of their energy.
Of course.
So I hope you try it. Let us know how it goes and what aspects of your life you're now more in control of that you felt you weren't in control of before. We'd love to hear from you.